So we are here at Grand Seiko, and anybody who knows me knows Grand Seiko is one of my favorite watch brands in the world. In fact, I'm actually wearing the original spring drive watch from 1999. But we got to talk about today's releases because there's a lot of stuff to go through. We're going to go through some of the key highlights. Last year, there was the Kodo. Big news of the week, constant force tourbillon, but that was only 20 pieces and it was a very expensive watch. This year's marquee novelty from Grand Seiko is something that we can all enjoy, and that is the new Grand Seiko Tentagraph. Okay, what does Tentagraph stand for? Well, 10 beats per second, 3 days, automatic chronograph. And the movement inside this new Grand Seiko Tentagraph, the first ever fully mechanical chronograph from Grand Seiko, is the 9SC5. If that sounds just a little bit familiar, it's because this chronograph movement is built upon the 9SA5 caliber that now sets the precedent for sort of the pinnacle of modern Grand Seiko calibers today. Digging into more of the specs, high intensity titanium case, 43.2 millimeters in diameter and just under 15 millimeters thick. And I would put the lug to lug at about 50 millimeters, so it's much more wearable than the dimensions suggest. High intensity titanium, 100 meters water resistant with a screw down crown. This is a lightweight, robust chronograph that you can wear every day, and it has a beautiful patterned blue dial that is super versatile. You can wear it with any wardrobe. It's a handsome watch, robust, sporty, Evolution 9 case. There's a lot to like. Next up, we're gonna pivot away to the Micro Artist Studio for an intricately handcrafted piece, the new SBGZ009. Looking at the watch, you might think, wait a second, I've seen that before. And if you are thinking that, you're thinking of the SBGZ001. What's different about the new SBGZ009 is that its muse is the white birch versus the snowflake pattern. So the platinum case is hand engraved to mimic the white birch pattern as it extends out across from the dial onto the case. Flipping the watch over, you have the Micro Artist Studio spring drive caliber 9R02 that is beautifully hairline brushed across its bridges and exquisite interior angles and rounded chamfers across the bridges as well. In fact, if you look really closely, you can see the position of 2 jewels and the interior angle and a bit of curvature over it. It's a little Easter egg that they put in the movement. It's a little hidden Kermit the Frog, if you will. It's a very, very beautiful and intricate piece. Again, platinum, which how they drill lugs in platinum is just beyond me, but they do it. If, like me, you're a fan of intricate hand decoration, you're gonna have to move on the SBGZ009 quick because it is limited to 50 pieces. Speaking of limited editions, the next watch we have is the SBGY026, a limited edition of 100 pieces that I have a very, very good feeling are gonna be sold out quite quickly. Why? Well, if you're familiar with the SBGA413 and the Shunbun dial, that cherry blossom inspired pink hue dial is very popular among fans of Grand Seiko. And now we have it in a rose gold elegance case, right? The rounded case, it might seem like a simpler geometry, but in fact, it's actually that much harder to get those distortion-free mirror polished surfaces on those curved slopes. And yet, of course, in Zaratsu fashion, Grand Seiko is able to do it. The rose gold paired with the Shunbun hue, that cherry blossom hue, it's just absolute magic on the wrist. And yeah, if you're not hitting buy now this second, you're probably gonna miss out. Last but not least for this roundup, and there's plenty more to discover on time+tidewatches.com, is the new SLGA023 Diver Evolution 9 dive watch. We have the Lake Sua pattern dial inside of a high intensity titanium case and bracelet, and flip it over. Inside you have the 9RA5 5-day spring drive movement. Look, it's a little bit on the larger side. That being said, even though it's got its above 43 millimeter diameter, the lug to lug is 51.5. So as long as you have an average sized wrist, I think you'll be able to pull it off quite fine. There is that banana camber to the case, so it does hold the wrist quite well. But spring drive and dive watch is an awesome combination. So if it can fit your wrist, I say absolutely go for it. All right, those are some highlights from Grand Seiko today. Like I said, there's plenty more to discover. Stay tuned. Keep looking at Time+Tide on Instagram, on YouTube, on the site. And as always, I'll see you on the next one.